Have you ever wondered why some people seem to work less yet achieve far greater success? Why some businesses focus on only a small group of customers, but still outperform competitors who spread their efforts everywhere? Or even in daily life, why just a few relationships bring us the majority of our joy and happiness? The answer lies in a principle that may appear simple, yet has completely changed the way we see the world: the 80-20 principle. Richard Koch, a former strategy consultant, affirmed in his book The 80-20 Principle, the secret of achieving more with less, that 80% of results come from only 20% of causes. First observed by Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto in the late 19th century, this law was initially about the unequal distribution of wealth, but has proven to apply across business, management, personal life, and even the way we use our time. Koch transformed a dry economic law into a practical guide, showing us how to do less but achieve more. This is not just another short-term success hack, but a fresh perspective that helps us reorganize our work, time, and relationships according to their true value. The book begins by explaining the origins of the 80-20 principle. Pareto observed that 80% of land in Italy was owned by just 20% of the population. From this, he derived a broader rule of uneven distribution. In most areas of life, the majority of results, wealth, profit, or even problems, stem from a small number of causes. Joseph Uran, a quality management expert, later applied this principle in quality control, discovering that most product defects came from just a handful of root causes. Richard Koch carried this law into the modern world. He demonstrated that in business, 80% of profits typically come from 20% of customers, while 80% of problems often arise from a few complex products or processes. Successful companies are those that concentrate their resources on these core customers, products, or activities instead of scattering efforts across everything. But the power of the 80-20 principle goes far beyond business. Koch revealed that in time management, 20% of our daily hours generate 80% of our results. This means instead of trying to do everything, we must identify our golden moments, the tasks that truly create breakthrough outcomes, and channel most of our energy there. This allows us to escape the endless business trap and live with greater focus and meaning. Another fascinating point Koch makes is that simplicity lies at the heart of 80-20. He argued that most complexity in business or personal life adds only costs and stress, not real value. For example, many companies maintain hundreds of product lines, while only a few generate most of their revenue. Similarly, we often maintain too many social connections, while only a small handful bring us genuine happiness and belonging. Thus, the 80-20 principle is also a bold call. Dare to eliminate the trivial 80% and focus on the vital 20%. Koch even extended the principle into society and public policy. He showed that major changes often start from a small number of root causes. For instance, in crime reduction, targeting the 20% most common offenses can cut 80% of problems. In education, improving teacher quality and learning environments produces greater results than merely increasing funding. The 80-20 principle, therefore, becomes a new lens through which we can better understand and solve complex challenges. Beyond management and policy, Koch explored how 80-20 applies to happiness and personal relationships. He believed that 80% of our joy comes from 20% of experiences or people around us. We don't need a hectic life filled with hundreds of activities. Just nurturing a few meaningful hobbies and deep relationships is enough to enrich our lives. The greatest lesson Richard Koch wanted to deliver through this book is simple: live selectively. Success, career, happiness, and even love do not come from doing more, but from identifying what truly matters and doing it well. The 80-20 principle acts like a compass, helping us realign our energy, time, and emotions. In work, ask yourself, what 20% of activities bring 80% of results? Which group of customers or projects contributes most to your growth? Once you identify them, you'll have the courage to cut unnecessary tasks and focus fully on what drives breakthroughs. In personal life, reflect on which relationships truly give you warmth, motivation, and joy. Instead of trying to please everyone, invest your time and heart into the people who matter most. This not only makes you happier, but also adds depth to your life. In time management, discover the moments when you perform at your best and protect them from distractions. Don't be afraid to drop trivial activities, because letting go creates space for greater opportunities to emerge. Most importantly, remember that the 80/20 principle is not a rigid formula, but a way of seeing. It reminds us that the world is imbalanced, value is unevenly distributed, and real power lies in recognizing and focusing on the essence. When you do this, you'll realize that to achieve more, you don't need to do everything. You only need to do the right things. The 80/20 principle is not just a book about business or management. It is a philosophy of life. It encourages us to simplify, to let go, and to choose wisely. In a world growing ever more complex, this is the key to living more freely, successfully, and joyfully. So, after closing its final pages, don't leave the 80/20 principle on paper. Apply it today. Start by identifying the 20% of tasks, relationships, or habits that bring 80% of value to your life. Nurture, invest, and expand them. At the same time, bravely remove the 80% of clutter that takes up space but delivers no results. Do this, and you'll witness something extraordinary. You don't need to do more to succeed. You only need to do less, but do it right. And that is the timeless secret of the 80/20 principle.